began to feel, I can't really describe it any better than a bit odd, shall we say. I had always been a bit odd, to be fair, but I went a bit odder and lost the plot would be an accurate description of it.
I came over to Scotland 16 years ago to be with my boyfriend. 6 months after I arrived, he died of lung cancer.
I robbed a post office. And the barriers I've had since then, I mean, you're talking about 21 years I've been out of jail. It's just followed them on, followed them on, and followed them on.
I basically ended up in hospital, a psychiatric hospital.
In 1999, I was in quite a severe car accident.
They declared me to have bipolar disorder.
That kind of threw me again. That kept me out of work for 10.5 years. And then in 2004, I myself was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Every time that I disclose I've been in the jail, it just seems to be like you can hear a door slamming.
Like going from a working life and nothing strange for that number of years into a psychiatric hospital, coming back out, the whole thing's like a blur.
I've been unemployed. I know how it feels to be unemployed. People who come into a workplace, I see people coming into a workplace in alpha states. Alpha states is like a daydream state. I see them coming in where they're not totally focused within their organisations.
I was unemployed for 6 months. My previous background was 20 years in health club management. It was a period of my life where I was looking for some new challenges. I now find the whole role that I'm in at the moment very humbling. It's fantastic to work with these guys who are obviously down in their self-esteem, their confidence levels, their attitude, and it's great to see them come through this transitional period of a journey of 4 weeks which totally changes their lives.
The relationships that we build are unique because they're built on an understanding of what the end employer is looking for.
And we do it very, very differently. We look at the person as a whole rather than the end result of just getting them into the job. Training's very interactive, there's lots of laughter, there's lots of noise, there's lots of smiling.
When I work for organisations, I used to ask myself questions when I would see line managers recruiting staff through somebody knew somebody else, or there was no consistency in how people were inducted into companies. When I set up KDS in 2004, my challenge was, how am I going to possibly get drivers through a 26-stage induction?
Stevie and a couple of other people gave a kind of brief presentation, tell us it was a 4-week course, what the outlines of he'd tried a couple of academies previously that had been quite successful.
There are things that I would look at would be saying, these people are lost in life. And I'm going back to 20 years of experience of working with people. So I developed a 26-stage induction model for this business.
It's completely unique because the whole concept that this organisation is set up is purely about people. I can honestly say this is the most enthusiastic, driven, forward-thinking organisation that I've worked in.
We look at where people want to go, we look at the end destination, not just what's the job you want just now. It's the career, the life, the family, everything outside it, the diet. You notice huge changes in people very, very quickly.
About a year after my treatment, I was desperate to try and see what I could do to get back to fitness and being able to work again. And at the time, I just seemed to be hitting a lot of walls, not being able to get anywhere. I just felt I wasn't getting proper support.
I've been unemployed for the last 6 years, and even trying to get back into some kind of work. I mean, this is the first course I've done.
And I have to say, hand in heart, there was a coffee break about 11:30 or something like that. And in my usual impetuous way, I then went up to Stevie and said, Mr. Kidd, hi, I've listened to what you've got to say and I really don't think this is for me. Don't really fancy this, think I'll go up the road. And he went, great plan, away you go then. Which obviously took me a wee bit by surprise.
Call it the map of life if you want. It's getting people to look at their life, whether you're 20-year-old or whether you're 50-year-old. Doesn't matter what age group you are, you're looking at a pattern of events in your life. When were you most happiest in your life? When were you the most negative in your life? When did you have the biggest challenge in your life? And they map it out, and that's the starting point. But the starting point is discovering who you are, because there's no other training programme that I know that actually works on the individual.
So I don't know, I think at lunchtime, and I thought, this guy's already run successful academies, barred everybody else out the way and said, excuse me, I need to speak to him. And people said, sorry, I'm in the queue before you. And I said, if you want an 18-stone ginger right hook, that's fine. If you don't, get out of my way, I'm speaking to him. They went, right, fine. Went back in and said to Stevie, sorry, I've changed my mind, I've had to think about it. I'm going to stay if you'll have me. And he went, good decision.
I would describe it probably as very much a roller coaster ride.
There was quite a lot of varied training, there was quite a lot of good mind exercises, and they put you in a position and you had to work as a team of 2 or 3, just again strange things you'd not done for a long, long while.
Communication's a big thing.
Obviously there was the professional side of it, you know, things like the health and safety, fire safety, but there was also the life skill side of it, which was probably the biggest part of the journey.
It's a lot of trust building, you put a lot of yourself out there.
The KDS Academies, from my view, from what I've seen, consistently treat people as a whole individual. We
had 14 of us together, and we were all at different, probably a little bit different stages of the journey, of the total journey.
You're not dealing with just one aspect of their life. So we're not dealing with just the employability issues, we're dealing with the whole person.
It seems to bring me out as a better person. My family, they've all noticed, like my mother and father-in-law and that, they've all noticed a big difference in me. Just my attitude, the whole lot's all changed.
You slowly become part of humanity again.
We're not only just trying to get people signposted back into employment, but we're actually working with their barriers to employment. So things like confidence, self-esteem, attitude, big barriers to employment that are signposted and worked on.
Finding out exactly who you are, but seeing where does the line draw? Where does the line draw in your world today to say, limitation stops here? For day one, we're asking the human being to stand up and say, tell us who you are, tell us in front of strangers, because people find that a challenge.
It almost begins the process of recognising their emotions again and learning how to deal with them and learning the impact it has when they take it out with their work and into other areas of their life.
I was one of the fortunate ones that, well, I think actually most of everybody in our academy had a job to go to. I'm still in that job. I'm working in the care sector.
The difference was really, really quite quickly. Suddenly he was setting an alarm. Simple things, going to your bed at night, and he was setting an alarm, which I hadn't seen him do for months.
I knew the only chance you got was to get your head down, and because if you left or chucked it or whatever, where'd you go from there? You know, you've had a chance in the academy after 18 months in the brew, after various disasters. Whatever else happens, I was determined to stick at it, so that's probably why I'm still working after 2.5 years.
It's wanting to better myself, and if I can better myself as a person, then it has a roll-on effect on my family as well. I mean, I bring my wee boy up to be like how I was brought up.
So why do I do it? People.
You know, a lot of people say I light up and I glow now when I talk, and I can give all the credit to that confidence that KDS helped me find within myself.
You do remember points in your life for a reason, and it's when you have the thought, when you make that decision, that's when things change. When you actually make the decision, I'm going to do this, and you do it, that's when things change.